Welcome to Tech in the Car. In this video, I'm going to show you an infotainment system on the Kia eNiro. This car has a lot of tech, so if you want to know all about how it all works, then you come to the right place. Let's start off with this touchscreen in the middle. We've got a 10.25-inch touchscreen. This is available on the top trim. The lower trims have a smaller screen available. And what I really like about this is it's very clear and very easy to see what's going on. So looking at the front page of this, the home screen, you can see there's basically three widgets: your location, your battery status, and your media source. And I've turned the radio off, obviously, because we don't want it going off while I'm talking to you. We've got the time, we've got the date, we've got the fact that it's connected to the live services and to the app, so I can see what's going on my car from my phone, and we've got our menu button. Underneath the screen, there are some quick setting buttons. We've got our volume control and our power on and off button. We've got our map button, navigation. This button is a customizable button, so I've set it to take me to the phone apps like Android Auto or Apple CarPlay if I'm using them. Then we've got our seek and track, which lets you move up and down through the tracks or change radio stations. Your radio button, your media button, which will take you to wherever your media is playing from. So if it's USB, it'll be USB. If it's Android Auto or CarPlay, it will be there. And your setup button. Let's press the setup button. So you can see we've got vehicle, navigation, phone connection, data network, advanced, general, sound, media, display, and voice recognition. So these are your settings buttons. So if I hit on vehicle, first of all, you'll go through and it will show you different drive modes, eco, and it will give you the option to choose what level you want the regen braking on, if you want a maximum speed limit, and that allows you to adjust your eco potential. So you can actually create more efficiency by, for example, increasing the regen braking to level 3. Now we go up to 85. It's 80 on level 2, 75 on level 1. So it lets you adjust it. That's pretty cool. You do the same in normal mode. You can increase it to level 3, 2, 1. Just put level 3 so we get 60%. And the same with sport as well. So you can adjust it. And then you can reset it as well back to standard. You can also have a drive mode change alert. So it will alert you if you change into a different drive mode. So if you always want to drive in eco, this car will let you know if you've changed it out of eco. Then we have our navigation settings. This lets me see your units, your display settings, your guidance information, your data, basic stuff you would expect. We have our phone connection, which is Bluetooth, and our Android Auto and Apple CarPlay settings. So this is very interesting. In Android Auto, you have a quarter of the screen taken up by the Android Auto logo. Even though Android Auto can do full screen, it doesn't. Apple CarPlay takes up the full screen, but you can actually change the side that the home button on CarPlay appears on, depending on which side of the road you're driving on. So for a right-hand wheel car, it'll be on one side. For a left-hand wheel car, it'll be on the other side. That's something which you can't do in the Android Auto settings, which is very interesting. Data network, this shows you if your UVO is activated. UVO is the app which Kia uses to connect to your phone and give you information about the car status, which is very cool. And then we've got Kia Live, which is your traffic information, your points of interest, which is live connected. Advanced, this lets you adjust what the buttons do. The tune nub function, so this button will actually allow you to zoom into the maps or allow you to change radio station media track. So I think it makes more sense to have it on radio station than zoom in on maps. And then obviously, like I said, the star button, you can set it for whatever you want. I've set it for phone projection, which is Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. The steering mode button, which is the button which looks like 3 arrows, that also can be changed to scroll through whatever audio sources you want. I've chosen radio, Bluetooth, and phone projection. So lots of cool little settings here, which I like. If we go to sound, this allows you to adjust the location of the sound, lets you adjust the volume of, for example, your voice prompts and directions. Really cool equalizer as well. And then we can go into media. This is obviously, if you're connecting a USB stick to this, it allows you to show the different settings for those. And then your display settings. This is the auto illumination, whether it's brighter in the daytime and changes colors in the night or gets less bright at night. And also you have a blue light filter, which I've never seen on a car, which will make the screen warmer. So that's actually what I've got on now. If I turn it off, you probably can't see it on the camera, but it will make it more warm and less warm. I don't think the camera will be picking this up, but I promise you it's definitely doing something. And those are your advanced settings. And then we have our voice recognition settings, which lets you choose how much information you want the car to give you in navigation. And if you want to let it process your voice in the cloud, so maybe it's more accurate. Let's hit the home button at the top here, because there is a home button up here. And let's go into our battery settings. So we've got our charge management, so you can adjust when the charging turns on and turns off. You can schedule it. Obviously, you can do this from the app as well. You can set a charging limit so that it will only charge to 80%, because 80% is probably the optimal amount you want for charging to conserve the battery. And also when you're charging at chargers out and about, the last 20% isn't worth charging, because it normally takes about twice as long as the first 80%. So you might as well set it to 80%, and then it will give you a notification when it's done on the app. And you can see your charging current. You can change that whether you want that to be maximum, minimum, or reduced. So there's a lot of settings here which I haven't seen on any of the other electric cars I've had on this channel that you can't normally see or get to, which is really interesting. We've got our eco mode. We've got our energy information, again, which is showing the battery levels. And we've got our EV settings. So in winter mode, this function will help maintain that, but it will reduce the driving range. So we're not in the winter, so why is it in winter mode? It's in summer. And then we've got a range warning, which will let you know if the car doesn't have enough range to reach a destination, which has been set in the car's inbuilt navigation. So not with Android Auto or CarPlay, but with the car inbuilt navigation. And then we've got our EV route, again, which will show your range if you're going to exceed the range and there's no charging, and where the charging is along the way. So again, really cool, easy to use. I can, of course, hit the map button, and then it will show me in list my range and the charging points that are near me. So right now it's telling me that I can zoom in and my range is to Amsterdam. Of course, I have to go on a boat if I'm going to Amsterdam, but right now it's telling me that I could potentially drive north of Leeds on the range in this car. Will it get there? Watch my range video to find out. I wasn't planning on visiting Leeds. If I got to Leeds, then, well, I mean, that would be a surprise. Not because of the range, just because I wasn't expecting to go to Leeds. Hopefully we'll get there. Okay, so let's look at the next button. So let's go into map. It's very easy and it's very clear. And you can choose whether you want motorway access or whether you want the traffic on, whether you want to go on certain roads or use tunnels. So it's actually a very easy to use navigation system, which I actually like very much. Guidance. And there we go, and it's our route guidance. And then of course, if you click on the nav button next to it, you then get to see your ability to input information of places you want to go. So you can put in an address, you can put in a search by the points of interest, you can use Kia Live to find live parking or live points of interest, or indeed the weather. What's the weather today? It's 20 degrees and it's raining, I can tell you that much. Kia service, you can cancel your route, you can search by charging stations, and you can show those charging stations along your route as well. That's really cool. And talking about charging, Kia has a service called Kia Charge, which allows you to use them as a subscription-based service to charge at pretty much any electric charging points along the way. You'll see me using it in our range test video, but it's pretty cool not to need a separate fob for ChargeMaster, for Pulse, for Ionity, whatever the company is, to have one card which comes from Kia. Kia sorts it out for you. It's a really clever idea. It makes it a lot easier when you're trying to charge something, not having to keep reaching for different fobs or different apps. So that's a really good idea, Kia. Thank you very much for that. It will only work with Kia cars. So one other benefit of getting a Kia electric car. So that's our nav choices. We can scroll across here. We can do detours, etc. We can also set favorites, home, office, and up to 3 other favorites to make it quicker to navigate through. Then we have our radio. And of course, you've got DAB, FM, AM. You can scroll through, you can search, just like you would expect. Your media settings, so if there's media connected, you can then go into the media, you can have USB, you can have your phone plugged in, you can have Bluetooth, and you can also have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as well. If we go back to the home button here and we scroll to the side, we can then see these same buttons that underneath replicated on the screen, except for there's a bit more information here that lets you see what's going on. So we've got map, we've got navigation. Now I've connected up my phone with Android Auto. You can see the Android Auto button is there, and you can see what Android Auto looks like on here. So like I said, about a quarter of the screen has got the Android Auto logo and will show me what my phone is. That's a shame it's not full screen. You'll see CarPlay in a minute is full screen. This disappoints me. This is not in any way anything to do with Google or Apple. This is something which Android Auto and CarPlay has built in and the car manufacturers can use. And this is not in any way a go at Kia, because lots of car companies don't have widescreen Android Auto. And it's a real shame. Android is the largest used platform in the world, and they should be able to get that parity with CarPlay from Apple. So that's a shame. But we've got Android Auto. It works. You've got your music. You've got your apps. You've got everything you want. And being a touchscreen car, Android Auto now has games in the car. So this will only work while stationary, but there are now games on Android Auto. And obviously this works exactly how Android Auto would be expected to work. And you can hit the Kia button to go back to the main screen. If I touch phone now, it will now connect to my phone. It's connected via Android Auto, so it knows it's in here, and I can go through and see the favorites, contacts, and dial numbers, and also messages. So I can see all that information on here. You can obviously do this through Android Auto. You don't need to hit the phone button. If I tap the home button up here, it will take us back there. So CarPlay is now connected, and you can see we've got the full screen here. Again, why doesn't Android Auto do that? And I can scroll through and I can see everything you would expect from CarPlay on a nice big screen, which is pretty cool. And we can go into Spotify and it will load up Spotify, and it's got a nice big screen here that you can see, and it also shows me that information in the middle on here. Don't have a very good signal where I am now, so that's probably why it's not loading, but you can see it's nice and clear and sharp. Now let's look at the EV settings. So you've already seen this, but this is the button through to here. Very easy. We've got our voice memo. If you want to record a voice memo, you can record it on here. So maybe some vital information that you want, you can do that, record it and save it. Now we have our climate settings. There are manual buttons underneath here, which you can use to turn on the air conditioning or the heating. You can also hit the driver only button to only heat the driver area. And you can make all those adjustments under there, which is very, very cool. You can also see this little widget showing you your battery information, your range information, and your nearest station. So you're telling me 273 miles of range right now. So that's climate control. Driving info. I haven't been anywhere today, but you'll be able to see your speed distribution, your deceleration, and your acceleration. Pretty cool to see that. And you got your manual, and then you've got your favorites. So you can save things as favorites. So for example, your electric vehicle settings, your range, search stations. If we add those to favorites, these are now favorites. So I can just click on it really quickly and easily to go to search stations or to show my range. And that's it. Up in the corner, we can see our status. We can see the phone's connected with Bluetooth. We can see our menu button. So this lets you edit the home widgets. So I can change that. So instead of being the map, it could be the weather, it could be the driving info. I quite like it as it is right now, but I can do that. We can hit default and that will reset it to factory settings. That is the factory settings. Let's look at the instrument cluster. So we've got the steering wheel here, and on the steering wheel you can see these settings buttons. So if I hit this button here, that will let me swap between the different options. So we've got our settings, we've got our energy flow, we've got our map information, we've got our driver assistance, and back to our settings. So this is really interesting because I haven't seen this on other cars. I can scroll through the user settings on here. So if I scroll in a bit more here, I can then use the buttons to turn the lane safety on and off, the lane departure, the warning, the driver assistance. So I want it high sensitivity with the driver attention settings, the SEC response, your lane following, your forward collision warnings, how early do I want them or late, your rear cross traffic warnings, your speed limit warnings. So this is all in the binnacle, which is very unusual. Door settings, I want it to auto lock, auto unlock, lights, one touch turn indicators, ambient light brightness, ambient light colors. I mentioned this earlier, but we got bronze, red, eco green, blue and gray and white. And your headlamp delay as well. We got our sound, so you can change that for the parking. How loud do we want the parking information? It's probably loud enough. Your convenience. So do you want the seats to move backwards and forwards? I really like how they do that. Utility mode. No, let's not do that. Rear descent alert. Welcome mirror light. Wireless charging on. Wiper and lights display. Auto rear wiper. Smart recuperation. Let's turn that on. icy road warning. We can swap into energy flow now, and we can see the average consumption. We can see the driving information, how I've been driving, economical, normal. We can go to the next setting here, which is our map information I already showed you, and the cruise control. So you can turn the cruise control on. It can show you your attention level, your speed limit warning, and your tire pressures, which will display when driving, and then back to your energy flow. So this is very unusual to have this information and be able to adjust it in the instrument binnacle by using these buttons. That's highly, highly unusual and very, very interesting. So something new to learn about how cars are done. One thing actually which is also interesting is when you put it into reverse, the car will actually, I'll demonstrate this, if I put it into reverse, the car will show in the middle here your position, and it will also show it on here in the binnacle. But what's interesting about the binnacle is that when you pull forward, it will only show on here, it won't show on here. So this display here will suddenly appear over here, and this will go back to whatever you had on that screen before, which is slightly unusual. Please ignore the bing, I'll put it back into normal mode. So really interesting that the binnacle has information about the car settings which you can't get in the infotainment system. Also, when reversing, what happens is you reverse back, it will show in the middle on the infotainment display, but when you pull forward, it will show the car information, and if there's anything in front on the driver display. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you did, really help. Stay safe everyone.